You head out on a family trip to the zoo on a bright June day. As you drive through Hammond to get to the interstate, you feel a crushing sadness pass over your body. Feeling a bit shaken, you push forward and don't think much of it, until you start driving through the Berwyn neighborhood. As you pass the Woodlawn Cemetery, you smell smoke, and you begin hearing sobs and screams and sounds of animals. But as you reach the zoo, they vanish. It's June 22nd, the anniversary of the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus crash. Myths and folklore inhabit cultures all around the world. Things like the Loch Ness Monster, Yeti, and leprechauns tend to integrate their way into people's lives. And although Hawkins, Indiana and the Demogorgon may not exist, throughout Indiana we have our own myths and folklore that we will explore together. My name is Casey Terry, and this is Hoosier Lore. Welcome to Hoosier Lore. I'm your host, Casey Terry, with the Indiana Historical Society. They often provide a cautionary, moralistic, or belief-confirming component that changes with the times to reflect current societal norms and fears. These tales play an important role in helping us develop and understand our communities and the world around us. In this series, we are going to explore the myths and folklore that originated in Indiana. In the early hours of June 22, 1918, the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus of Peru was on a train heading towards its next performance in Hammond, Indiana. Several miles outside of Hammond, the train's conductor, R.W. Johnson, noticed the smell of smoke and became concerned that something was overheating. He stopped the train at the Ivanhoe interlocking crossing to investigate. Following a distance behind the circus train was engine number 8485, an empty troop train operated by Alonzo K. Sargent. Having fallen asleep, Sargent missed the multiple warnings that the circus train was stopped on the track, including the crew member that was desperately waving a warning flag to no avail. At 4 a.m., the troop train plowed into the back of the stationary circus train. Because the circus train cars were made of wood and lit by the kerosene lanterns, the smashed-up train burst into an uncontrollable fire. Hundreds of curious onlookers rushed to the accident site. It took 4 hours to manage the fire, during which many humans and animals perished, while those at the sidelines looked on helplessly. Of the 300 passengers aboard the circus train, around 127 were injured and 86 died. It took days to clean up the site and gather the charred remains of the deceased. Many of these remains were not able to be identified and were taken to the Woodlawn Cemetery in Forest Park, Illinois, to be buried in the part of the cemetery known as Showman's Rest. Despite what has become known as the worst ever circus train accident, the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus was able to get back to performing, only missing 2 shows. Both the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey shows lent them equipment and performers, while the community of Hammond provided food and clothing to the survivors. Today, the poor individuals that lost their lives in the wreck can still be heard crying and sobbing, and the sounds of ghostly animal cries can be heard at Showman's Rest. Visitors to the crash site have reported feeling a sudden, crushing sadness, and some even say that if you visit on the anniversary of the crash, the ghostly scene of the crash plays out. The Hagenbeck Wallace Circus accident was truly one of the worst circus train accidents in the United States. The commonly told story of the accident, however, involves several false elements, added as the story was retold over the years. There were never any animals involved in the wreck. The train that carried the circus animals was a separate train that had left earlier that morning. The sounds of ghostly animals that have been heard at Showman's Rest likely come from the nearby Brookfield Zoo. Well, that's the story of the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus crash. In the comments, let us know what you took away from this tale and how it could be changed to fit modern day. If you enjoy Hoosier lore, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out indianahistory.org for more content.